You're listening to
the Beer O'Clock.
The Beer O'Clock Show.
You're listening to the Beer O'Clock Show.
It's Beer O'Clock and this is the Beer O'Clock Show. My name is Mark and joining me, as always, is my beer buddy Steve. Hello, Steve.
Hi, Mark. How you doing?
I'm doing alright, mate. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Very good. Also joining us this week is an old friend of the show and official number one fan, Miles Lambert. Hello, Miles.
Hi, Mark. How are we doing?
Doing fine. It's really good to have you on the show finally.
Thank you.
It's been long enough, hasn't it?
It has.
You've held on to that title for a while now. It's got to be at least a year.
I've fought them off so far, but they're climbing up the ramparts.
We're doing a very interesting looking beer. This week we are doing Jakehead IPA from Wylam, who are based up your way, I think, Miles, aren't they?
They are indeed. Tyne Valley.
This is a 6.3% India Pale Ale, and we'll be getting to that in just a little bit. Stevie, how's your beery week been, buddy?
It's been exceptionally beery. I spent the weekend in Dublin with being looked after by the beer snobs, who both managed to avoid falling through any tables for the entire weekend. I also got to meet Instagramming legend Son of a Gun.
Son of a Gervin,
who actually has a real name. So I got to meet Pierce, and I got to see his Instagram in action, actually live.
Oh, wow.
and the efforts that he goes to take a stunning photo. I've had a really good weekend, mate. Drunk some stunning beer again. Just two that I'm going to mention. 8 Degrees had a double IPA called Millennium, which was a 10% double IPA, which was to celebrate their 1000th brew. That was incredible. It was just so easy to drink. You would never have put it down as a 10% double IPA. And then the other one again was a double IPA. This was about 9%, called Brutus by Oh Brother Brewing. So they were my two highlights, along with the many other Irish beers I got to sample, which led. I think it was Wayne that said it was like watching somebody on a roller coaster.
Yeah.
Going up, coming down. Here he goes. He's coming down. And he's going back up again. And I was literally up and down all weekend. So yeah, just thanks to those guys for showing me a great time, and having some really good beers along the way.
Very good. How about you, Miles? How's your beery week been?
Relatively quiet. Couple of the sort of standout ones, I would say. I had Northern Monk 822, which is a double IPA. Comes in a nice big bottle as well, which was really delicious, really. Durham Brewery I've got a beer out called Raspberry Tart, which is sort of full of raspberries, as you'd expect, but the tartness is pitched just right with it as well, so that was really nice.
Cool. My beery week has been quiet as usual. I did get a couple in. I was at a leaving do on Friday night. We went to the Eagle. Is it the Eagle? Up on City Road in London. Brooklyn Summer Ale they had on. And also a beer whose name I forgot, except it has hop in the title. It's one of the Brewdog ones. Hop
Fiction.
Hop Fiction.
May have been Hop Fiction. American Ale. American Pale, is it?
Yeah, it was one of their prototypes from the end of last year that seems to have made a reappearance.
Okay, yeah. Well, they had that on tap, so that wasn't too bad. Typical Brewdog beer, really. Nothing much else to say. And I had a bottle of Axe Edge on the weekend.
Oh yes,
nice, clean. You can't really fault Axe Edge. It's not really my favourite style, but
it was. Axe Edge was very much my go-to beer over this past summer, purely because I picked up a box because Beer Buds featured it a good couple of months back, and then they had a really good deal on a box. So I picked up a box then, and then I bought some more from Buxton, and then I bought some more from Buxton, and then we got one that was in a box that Ibria sent us to try as well, their Discovery box, which I'm guessing is where you've drunk yours from.
Exactly.
Yeah, and so I've been pretty much axe edged out this summer. It's become my new klaxon. Axe Edge has.
Wow. Kind of pipped Halcyon then.
Only for a while, because I need to go back in and get another box of Halcyon. So,
Right.
and of course, there's the Belgian Halcyon coming now as well, which
what?
I need to try.
Yeah.
They've done a Belgian version of Halcyon,
God.
same recipe but with a Belgian yeast.
With my quiet beery summer, I haven't been keeping up with the news at all, so this has all slipped me by.
Okay, this is the last week you can use that excuse. you used it last week.
No.
We're back into it now. You've got to start keeping up with things again, mate.
I've got to go back on Twitter, don't I?
Yes, you have.
Fine. So a Belgian Halcyon.
Yes. As far as I know, it's only in keg initially.
Okay.
So I'm very much hoping it's going to be making an appearance at Indy Man.
Might it ruin Halcyon for you if it's Belgian-y?
I don't know. By all accounts, it's very, very good from people that have had early tries of it. So I'm keen to give it a go, to be honest.
Very good. Anyway, let's get into the news, mate. You got some news for me?
Always news.
Here's your pips. Beep, 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 beep.
Okay, so we're starting this week's news with some guest news, and we welcome back to the show Claudia from the Independent Manchester Beer Convention, otherwise known as Indy Man. Claudia, welcome back to the show.
Hey guys, thanks for having me back. Really appreciate it.
Last week you dropped a load of news about this year's convention, and you got in touch with us straight away and said, I want to be on the show to talk to your listeners about what's going on. So this is your platform. It's an opportunity for you to tell us all about what you've got going on. Let's start off with some of the announcements that you made. So your festival glass this year is something special, is it not?
It is the Craftmaster one, which I think it lends itself to a lot of jokes that particular bloggers have already been bantering about. But it's a great glass. I mean, I really like the glass. It's a bit different. It's going to get people talking, and certainly if you're not a sort of card-carrying beer geek yet, you may have not seen it yet. So it's unique, and we're over the moon that we're working with Rastal this year. And I think hopefully people will like the design. We've put a lot of thought into it. It'll have third, half, and 2/3 markings on it, which can be handy for, well, if you want to know what your measure is exactly. And actually I can reveal that Rastal are going to come out with a pint version as well at some point soon. So I think that glass is going to take off in your sort of craftier establishments. So we're really chuffed.
That's obviously going to be available across all sessions, is it? So
Yes.
Everybody's going to get one of those to take away with them as well?
Definitely. Yep, absolutely.
Marvellous. So the next piece of news, and this one, absolute genius. You've got the Craft Canning pros, We Can, involved in the festival. Not only are they going to be doing a special little pack, which we'll talk about in a minute, but they're going to be running a mini canning line where you can basically get mini crowlers.
Yes, that's exactly the idea. So if you're at a session and there's something that you think, wow, this is great, and within the next 5 days I'm going to subject my liver to it again, you can go for it. I mean, that's the limitation. It's really sort of time constrained. But yes, you can have it filled there on the spot, and they'll seal it up and can it for you, and you can take it away. So yeah, I think obviously cans are taking off massively, and this is just something, a bit of a different takeaway mechanism, isn't it? So it should be great. And as you were alluding to, what we're doing with our collaborations this year is we're canning them. So should you feel like you like them all, you can take away a 6-pack. Should you feel like you only like one of them, you could take away, a 6-pack of that. It's up to you, really. That'll be available to punters to take away. And the ones, the collabs will last longer. I think the shelf life should be at least 3 months, a bit dependent on the beer and the style that it was brewed. But yeah, it's about portability, about taking it away and enjoying it at a later date.
Okay, so one of the things that the Indy Man beer convention is famous for are your collaboration beers. You've mentioned there that they're going to be available in 6-packs in cans. What are the collaborations this year?
So this year we have decided, after last year, quite a few people suggested to us, oh, it would be nice if you had a dedicated collaborations bar, would it not? And we thought, oh yeah, well, gosh, we're a bit daft. We should have done it, indeed. So this year we're basically going to have Portable Street, which is sort of our, portable version of Port Street, dedicated to the collaborations. And so actually tomorrow I'm off to Cromarty for the day to brew with Craig. We're doing a bilberry saison. Last week or the week before we did seaweed goza with the crazy guys at Mad Hatter. The Weird Beard lot have indulged us with a gooseberry pale ale. And, what else are we doing? Oh, yes, a slow wit with Hanging Bat was brewed on Friday. And Fig Stout is also happening tomorrow. And then the final piece in the fruity crown is with Northern Monk. And we're doing a Quince IPA with them. So, yes, fruit, quite clearly the theme, mixed with some styles. And I guess the bilberry saison, Steve, won't be on your drinking menu, but
that's not going to be high on my must-drink list for the weekend. That's for sure.
Sorry, mate.
give us a feel. You announced 50 breweries for this year's event. Give us a feel of what we can expect, who we can expect. Who are you most looking forward to seeing there?
Oh gosh, well, it's kind of crazy. We've got 50 breweries, well actually 52 today. We've announced a couple more latecomers, Hamilton and Celt, but the majority. So Thursday, Friday again will be a little bit more of a regional, local-ish bent, and then Saturday and Sunday more UK-wide. But I think, for me personally, because I'm a bit of a Gers freak, so to have Pierre Tilkin come to the festival for the whole time is pretty amazing. And he's just got a few bottles of the Mura left, so that's the special tasting with him. And I'm also quite pleased that he's doing a talk on blending, so anyone who's interested in, sort of the it's kind of a where brewing science and art come together, because it's such an intricate sort of thing to blend beer. So he'll be doing a talk about that. But yeah, I'm really excited. We're having a bit of a Norwegian invasion with the Lervig guys, and they're also going to introduce us to a couple of other Norwegian breweries in a special tasting that will be announced soon. And yeah, I think I'm just excited to see a lot of newcomers on the UK scene. I mean, from up our way, from Hebden Bridge, Vocation have been doing some wonderful hoppy stuff. I think this is really sort of hopefully the breakout year for Indy Man. For anyone who's not been. To experience the breadth and depth of beers that are out there across the UK and that we're bringing in. I'm really excited about Firestone Walker 2 because David Walker is going to be there. Woohoo!
Okay, so you mentioned a couple of events there. You've got events all across the weekend going on. Some you're going to have to book in advance. You're going to have to buy tickets for. Others you'll just be able to turn up if you feel like just going and joining in one of them. You've got some great food lined up as well for this year.
Yes, we have. We've got the wonderful Bundobust from Leeds. Anyone that's been to Leeds and has been to theirs will know how great they are. I love those guys and what they do. We've got Fish and also from Leeds doing fish and chips, and they usually use some beer that's local for the beer battered version. We've got who else have we got? Oh, we've got Honest Crust, amazing pizzas. Can't go without pizza and beer. We've also got Almost Famous back, burgers, and Great North Pie, who just do astoundingly great pies. So yes, you should be able to fill up and get your mojo back if you're feeling a bit hungry. We've also got great snacks back. The guys from Epicerie Ludo are going to be doing their baguette and cheese and charcuterie, and we are back. And our good friends at Carclay, Kumar is going to be around. We've got the coffee guys from Idle Hands if you need a caffeine pick-me-up in between. And and we've also got the lovely guys from Square Root. So if you need a soft in between, they'll sort you out. So hopefully everyone will find something to drink. We got some cider people in as well as usual. So we're trying to get everyone involved and hopefully make everyone feel happy and satisfied with the event.
Well, it sounds amazing. It's less than 4 weeks away. I can't wait. Are there any tickets left for people to get hold of?
Yes. So Thursday night, we've still got tickets. We just announced today we're doing a bit of a sort of state of the UK beer industry and beyond chat. So Conor Murphy of Beer Battered is going to compare that. We've got Maggie from Beer Hawk. John Keeling from Fuller's is going to be there, which is amazing. It should be great to get his perspective on things. Mark Wellesby, who is the head brewer and co-owner of Runaway Brewery in Manchester, small brewery, and by small I mean small, 5-barrel, and Paul from Cloudwater, and hopefully I think it'll happen. Stu McKinley from the Yeasty Boys to give us the sort of truly international perspective on the Thursday night, and there's also tickets on Sunday. So yes, there's still opportunity Friday day as well if you feel like getting your weekend started early on the Friday. So do join us if you can. We'd love to see you.
And where do people find all the information?
You can find it at indymanbeercon.co.uk and /tickets will take you to the tickets. And as you mentioned, some of the tastings will be pre-ticketed. Got probably a couple more to come up, but plenty, if not all of the sort of general talks will be just rock up if you're interested and if you fancy it. And we'll have a daily sort of digest of what's happening on the day. There's a fair amount of fringe events happening in Manchester too, so fret not if you've only got a ticket for Friday day. Let's say Friday night sees a tap takeover from Brew by Numbers at Brewdog Manchester, and they've also kindly said they will do a sort of after hours event on the Friday. The Font in Manchester is having a Howling Hops takeover. Actually, the Font in town as well as in Chorlton. And they're going to be doing a breakfast deal as well. So hang on to your ticket or have it on your phone or keep your stamp legible, and you'll be able to score a breakfast at the Font and at Common as well. So there's loads going on in Manchester. Manchester's really gearing up for a big weekend.
Okay, well, like I say, I can't wait. Thank you for coming on the show to share the lowdown with us again.
No, thank you, Steve. Thanks, Mark. Really appreciate the time and your patience with me as well.
So now on to the rest of the news. This week, Thornbridge and Waitrose crowned the winner of the Great British Homebrew Challenge 2015. Loads of entries again in this. This is, if you remember back to last year, this is the beer that will now be produced and will be available in Waitrose stores. This year's winner was a gentleman by the name of Will Alston, who brewed a beer called Rhubarbe de Saison. Now, guess what? I'm not going to be rushing out to get that. I wonder why. It is a saison style that originated in France, and he's also used rhubarb fresh from his own allotment in the brewery. So that will be on the Thornbridge online store and in selected Waitrose stores in October. Also in awards news this week, the International Beer Challenge 2015 winners were announced. Some standout ones. I mean, there are literally hundreds of winners in this thing, so there is no way I'm going through the whole list. But the ones that I just want to point out are UK Brewer of the Year was Beavertown Brewery. Retailer of the Year was Marks and Spencer. Supreme Champion Beer was a beer called Baden Wit Beer. And the Supreme Champion Brewer, again, was Beavertown Brewery. So congratulations to Beavertown and to Marks and Spencer's for bringing home awards in the International Beer Challenge. If you do want to see the hundreds of winners that are announced, www.internationalbeerchallenge.com/2015-winners will take you to where they are at. Other news, the Craft Beer Carnival. Now, mate, this is the 50 quid a ticket thing. Yeah, it's been cancelled.
Hey.
No surprise there from any quarter, I think. They're saying it was cancelled due to reasons beyond their control. But yeah, it's been cancelled. They are saying that they're still going to do something with the beers that have already been imported and arrived. If you're interested in what's going on with that, just keep your eye on one of the Craft Beer Co's feeds on Twitter. The Big Beery Night is coming next week. Now, this was something that happened in the space of me getting on a plane to go to Dublin, and by the time I landed in Dublin, it had all been sorted. Got chatting to Phil Hardy on Twitter about the amount of stop drinking in this month, stop for this month, don't do anything in this month campaigns they are, and the damage that they do to the industry. And we said, what wouldn't it be great if we could actually turn that on its head? So what we've come up with is an idea of a Big Beery Night. So this is going to take place on Friday the 25th of September, which is the same day that Macmillan do their big coffee morning. We're going to go in the evening, and the idea is a very simple one. It's donate the cost of the beer that you drink on the night to Macmillan. We're hoping to raise £1,000. That's the target we've set ourselves, because we think there's enough people out there that if everybody pays for their pint on the night, we should hit that target. We should smash that target. There's more information on our website about it. There's more information on our Twitter feed about it. Just give whatever you feel you can give, because it's a great charity, and it's a charity that's affected lots of us.
Indeed. It only takes a few hundred people to hit that target as well, if you all donate the cost of a pint.
And we'll smash it. So.
We will. You will. Well done, mate. That's one of those things where you come up with an idea, and within the space of, like you say, a short plane hop, it's turned into a mass social media event, and there's a hashtag going wild. Because I was getting notifications on my phone saying, all of these people are tweeting about Big Beery Night, and I think, what the fuck is this? And then you sent me a text saying, I've come up with an idea.
Well, it wasn't all me. The idea was probably 75% Phil.
Yep.
You can follow Phil at it's FILRD. Don't know how you pronounce that, but you can follow him on Twitter. He's written a post about it. I've written a post about it. Miles, I know you've joined in and you've written a post now about it. And this is what we're trying to do. We're trying to encourage other bloggers and other broadcasters to write about it, to make the posts personal to them, and then to include the link to the Just Giving page. And yeah, Phil came up with the idea. I kind of ran with it. And then, like you say, by the time I landed in Dublin and got on the bus and was on the free Wi-Fi, everything was sorted by the time I hit Dublin city centre. So hopefully we can hit it. There'll be more updates on next week's show. But also just to mention as well to another big follower of the show, so Sean Smith at Plim Sean, he's actually starting tonight. He's donating the price of a bottle of beer every night up until the 25th of September, wow. Which by my reckoning is about 11 or 12 nights. So Sean, you're an absolute legend, mate. Thank you for that.
What a top bloke.
Yeah,
Great
absolutely.
cause.
Absolutely. Just give what you can. That's what it's all about. So, one final news story this week. It's been a bit of a dragged out news, but there's lots been happening again. We're still catching up with the news feeding through over the summer. And this was the story that broke Twitter last week. Lagunitas sold out as many quarters of the craft beer world. They sold a 50% share in their company to Heineken. Now, what this means is basically it's opening up distribution for Lagunitas. It means they're going to be able to get their beers into more places, more people seeing their brand, more people drinking it. Now, the issue comes with statements that the owner of Lagunitas has said in the past, particularly that he would rather die than sell his brewery to anybody. And that's what a lot of people got quite upset about. However, that's not necessarily the news story. That's just one part of the news story. The second part of this story is that within minutes, Brewdog had announced that they would no longer be stocking Lagunitas in their bars, which I feel is a little bit of a knee-jerk reaction to somebody, to the announcement. And that links in very, very seamlessly this week, mate, to this week's hot topic.
Well done.
Look at that. I'm trying to fit it in somewhere. Not so much. We're not interested in what you think about the Lagunitas Heineken merger, investment, whatever you call it. What we're interested in is the reaction to it. Simple question, and I'll put this one to Miles first as well, seeing as he's the guest. Miles, do you think the reaction to it has been over the top?
Probably, but that's given how many people are able to comment. I'm sure that the world of Twitter gives everyone a platform to make that comment. I can see the reaction to what's been said in the past, to what has happened, and that causing a bit of shock. But at its core, you think, well, what does it actually change? And you won't know that until sort of it's played out in full. People will make statements that the beer won't be as good anymore. That it's all going to go downhill and stuff. But until you actually sort of see the consequences flow through, you just don't know that.
Okay, so I mean, along the same sort of lines as obviously earlier on in the year, we heard that SAB Miller had invested in Meantime Brewing, and then again over the summer there was the announcement that it's actually now being blended with another mainstream beer, which is kind of filtering down the quality of Meantime's beers, possibly. I'm not sure whether we're going to get to the stage where we see a Lagunitas Heineken blend, but it certainly does, as I say, it gives them more outlet to get their beers out there, and I don't think anybody can really comment on it until they've seen whether there's any change in the quality of the beer. Mark, what about yourself? What do you think on this one, mate?
Well, as far as Brewdog's response goes, well, they tried to champion independent craft breweries, so I can't fault them that much for wanting to pull a Heineken product off their shelves. It is a bit knee-jerky, but if that's their philosophy, then fair fucks to them. It's their business; they can do what they want. As for Lagunitas selling up, you can say that you would rather die than sell your brewery, but we don't know what business pressures the owner was under, or they may have been dipping into the red, and selling out was a good way of keeping the business going. So I don't know what the situation there is. Personally, I think it's all a bit of a storm in a pint glass, really.
There's also the disappointment that there's a chance that being more cost aware as a brewery, they might not be as able to experiment with flavours and drive different styles of beers. They might just be maximising the profits from the beers that are already got in existence, which would be a shame.
But saying that, having someone like Heineken behind you kind of removes that cost aware situation in some elements, I suppose. I'm sure that
they'd be more likely to sort of be looking to maximise profits from it, though, wouldn't they?
We'll be keen to hear the listeners' views on this. So let us know using the hashtag #HotTopic on the Lagunitas Heineken situation. Was the reaction over the top? What are your thoughts?
Right, shall we get into this week's beer then, guys?
Please, yes.
Right.
I feel like I've been talking a lot before we got to this point.
Well, you always do when it's news time.
Yeah, maybe you should do it one week.
No, I don't know. Right, as I said at the top of the show, it is Jakehead IPA from Wylam Brewery. Is that how you pronounce it? Wylam?
Wylam.
Wylam Brewery, my apologies. I didn't mean to get it wrong. This is 6.3%. Wylam Brewery, from my quick pre-show research, I've been going since 2000, and people who work there have beards. That's about the extent of my research.
This is where we're kind of hoping that the number one fans' local knowledge will kick in, because probably due to my festivities over the weekend in Dublin, I haven't done any research either. Miles, do you know much about Wylam Brewery?
Bits and pieces.
Would you like to share with the listeners what it is that you know?
They were established in 2000. And they have sort of steadily grown over 15 years, and they've got a sort of a steady set of beers, which sort of there's quite a lot of traditional style beers in their range that have served them well over the years, and they're quite well established to now move into the craftier beers, and they're now really looking to experiment with different flavours and sort of really push their craft style of beers. But they're very much focused on the northeast market. They've got a really strong following here, and that is their bread and butter. Yes, they want to grow and sell more beer up and down the country, but they don't want to lose touch with the local identity, which I think served them very well so far. So.
And they've obviously got a really strong local following, because this beer recently won the 100 hottest beers in Britain, which was announced back in July, I think it was. And it saw off beers like Gamma Ray and Cannonball to win that competition. Now, either the whole of the Northeast voted for it to get it that, or maybe it is getting out there a little bit further.
I mean, it definitely is. They're sort of their footing in the Northeast is very strong. They've got they're a sort of a good local, well-established brewery. Everyone knows their name locally, but they've also got sort of strong tie-ins with certain pubs in town in key areas. But on top of that, they do things like craft beer calling. They're very much involved in that, and every month they do what's called a boiler shop steamer, which is just an evening of there's street food vendors, there's live music, and they have their bar there. And they have their own beers on, and they've started having guest kegs on as well. So, in a lot of respects, they're almost driving the local craft beer scene, if you like. So that sort of following. They're also very active on social media. You know, I think that goes a long way, especially with a Twitter poll like that. But I think what was really useful for them, they went to Liverpool last year for one of the festivals down there, and got fantastic response from that, which again give them a footing over in the Northwest as well, you know. So things like that are really helping them.
Excellent. And before we get into this beer, because I've opened it and I'm already blown away by the aroma that's coming out of my glass. Lovely. It is stunning, but more about that in a second. I'd just like to thank Dave Wylam, because he did send these beers down to us. to try, because he was really encouraged by the interest that we showed in them. So thanks for that, Dave. Do appreciate it. Hope you're listening to the show this week, and hope you enjoyed the review that we're about to give the beer.
Indeedy. So, talking about that review, let's start talking about the beer. What aromas are you getting off it, Steve, that you're...
Well, the first one that leapt out of the bottle as I cracked it, it was like almost like a sticky marmalade aroma to it.
Mm-hmm.
That straight away kind of blossomed into, there's pine in there, there's caramel, there's all sorts of tropical fruits going in there. That the flavours, the aromas that are coming out of there are just absolutely amazing. What's really surprised me is the colour of it, because it's a lot darker than I'd normally expect in an IPA.
Yeah.
It's almost like, colour-wise, it's almost like what you'd expect from maybe a traditional English IPA,
Mm-hmm.
not so much an American-style IPA, which I believe, from the aromas that we're getting from it, this is.
Yeah, I mean, you are getting... Well, I'm getting some slight pine, slight sticky orangey aromas. A bit toasty in there as well. How about you, Miles?
All the above. Very much. There's a hint of lemon in there just to finish it off, but it's a beer I know very well. So, the thing with this is it's packed with hops, absolutely packed with hops, and that's what you're getting.
Right, let's get in then.
Yeah, let's go.
That's like a call to action for me. Cheers, guys.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
So tasty. It's incredibly well balanced. The flavours in that are working so well together. There's the tropical fruits that we mentioned. There's hints of orange, citrus, a little bit of pine in there. It's a very soft finish. It's a very well balanced finish. Loads of character to it as well, right the way down to that sort of like final swallow. That is really, really nice.
Yeah, there's lovely sweet fruits, some dried fruit flavours. Toasty malt flavours coming in there as well.
I think
it's lovely.
For me, it's you don't often get IPAs with such a strong malt character to it. It's laden with hops, but also the malts play a very big part in it. I mean, it's a big beer.
Yeah, it's like it's taken the hand of a traditional English IPA and taken it for a trip to America.
Absolutely, yeah. It's like it's almost like someone's taken this lovely caramel biscuit and ladened it with lovely tropical fruit hops.
Yeah.
And said, here you go, drink that. It's just, yeah, it's incredibly well balanced. It's just so many flavours going on in there. I can understand why people really get behind this beer now, because it's incredible.
It's also been predominantly available in keg, and sort of only recently have they started bottling it in any sort of quantities, which again is probably why the support's quite local, but you'll probably see more and more of it in sort of years to come.
So, Steve, have you seen this beer down this way?
I haven't. Before it was storming the 100 Hottest Beers competition, I think Miles probably nominated it when we did the IPA poll last year. So that was probably the first time I heard of it. Never seen it commercially available down here until recently when the guys at Hot Burns and Black had it on their flag and feel. But they said they put it on and it literally went within a day.
Yeah,
people were that hot for it, and it's still the bottles of it. Obviously, when we was putting together this season's beer list, we tried to put links to all the places where you can buy bottles of it, and there aren't very many online suppliers that stock it.
It is available in Tate Modern, I understand.
Okay. Well, if you're in London, you can pop into Tate Modern and get yourself some proper art in the form of an incredibly well-crafted. I'm going to have to say I think it's an English-American hybrid because it's got characteristics of both styles, and they just work so well. This is an absolute stunner of a beer.
Yeah, it's like someone taking a Bourneville biscuit and spread spicy marmalade on top.
I've not really got a lot else that I can say about this, other than I said to you, mate, before we started recording that I was close to putting a second bottle in the fridge, because I thought the first one was going to go very quickly. I gotta say I've probably done it in about 4 gulps because it's so tasty, and I really wish I had put that second bottle in the fridge.
Miles is holding up 4 fingers, so I'm assuming he's got 4 more bottles in the fridge.
That's if my wife doesn't get there first.
No, but when you first come to it, you're getting all these American flavours from it, but there's such the lingering bitterness that you're really used to from the English beers and more traditional pale ales. It's a stunning little beer.
It's an absolute cracker. It is an absolute cracker. This is like the second show of season 8, and I feel as though we've already reached the peak.
Steady on. We've got a shitload of more beers to drink.
I know,
this isn't the best one.
That's all right. I can say that every week, though, can't I?
Yeah.
I like that though, because you get the aroma and you expect something from the beer, and then you taste it, and there's a lot more to it than what you expect.
There's so much body to it compared to what you normally get from an American style IPA, because it's got that sticky maltiness running through it as well. But like you said, Steve, it's so well balanced. It's got those great American aromas and flavours over top of this really lovely English style IPA.
Well, like I say, I was really surprised because the minute I cracked the top, I got the aroma, and I was expecting your normal sort of golden, dark amber colour IPA come out, and I got a beer that was almost verging on being the colour of traditional English bitter, and it's just from the look and the aroma and the feel of it, this is literally, I would probably now put this up there in at least the top 10 in terms of my favourite IPAs, having only had it once. But these guys are also, I'm pretty sure I saw them on the Indy Man list this year. So
yes.
they're gonna have some beers at Indy Man as well. And after this sample of one of their beers, I will be heading straight to Wylam to try all of their beers at Indy Man.
Yeah, they do a very good Cascade Pale Ale, which is particularly good at the moment.
That got me interested. That sounds great. Right, let's wind this down, Steve. Have you got an Instagram of the week, mate?
Yes, absolutely. Another new winner this week. So this is a first-time recipient of a great big empty box of nothing. At Devin Fiachara, possibly also known as Devin Duffy Mead, for posting an amazing picture of a beer that I mentioned earlier that I tried at the weekend, 8 Degrees Millennium. Very much the beer of the weekend for me. And when I saw the picture on Instagram, I was like, that's this week's winner, because it sums my week up for me. So that you can see that it's up on our Instagram feed. It's in the show notes to this show as well. And if you want to have a go at winning your very own big box of nothing, put your picture up on Instagram, use the hashtag cheers guys, and hope that your picture catches my eye.
And what is coming up next week?
Next week, we've got another double bill, mate. So I know you mentioned on the launch show of Season 8 last week that we've got 20 beers to get through this season. Yes, we have. So we're doubling up again next week. We are doing 2 beers from the Wildcard Brewery, who are a small small beery brewery. We've got 2 beers coming up from the Wildcard Brewery, who are based up in Walthamstow, and that is the Jack of Clubs and the Queen of Diamonds. And we'll hear on next week's show all about how their beers are named after playing cards.
Very good. Miles, where can people find you online, mate?
I am on Twitter at Miles Lambert. Blog Drinking Got Me Thinking at WordPress. And wherever you like, I'll be there. Keep digging.
Very good. Don't forget you can get your beers from Ales by Mail, Beautiful Beers, and Brewery, who all now offer a 10% discount to Beer O'Clock Show listeners on any beers on their websites. Check out all the details on our beer list page on the website, and the website is beeroclockshow.co.uk. You can find us on Twitter at Beer O'Clock Show, on Instagram at Beer O'Clock Show, on Untapped at Beer Show Steve. I'm on Untapped at Beer Show Mark. And I'm not Steve. And on Twitter at Beer Show Mark. Don't forget to subscribe to our newsletter. You can do so straight from the website. And that is basically the show. Miles, thanks so much for coming on to your first official episode. You've been on a lock-in before, but this was your first proper episode, isn't it?
Yeah, cheers, Miles. Nice to have you on, finally.
Yeah, it's been the standout thing in this 7-day period.
Well done.
Nicely done. Very nicely done. Mate, just before I step in with my official hashtag, just before I step in with my official catchphrase, just wanted to mention that people might have noticed that unfortunately we didn't win the UK Podcast of the Year last weekend, but we are really, really grateful to everybody that nominated us, everybody that voted for us, and we do this for you guys, the listeners, not for our own reward and recognition. So thank you all for sticking with us, and we'll keep doing what we keep doing as long as you keep listening to it.
Indeed. And who would have thought a beer podcast would get on the shortlist anyway?
Exactly. As far as I'm concerned, we're one of the 6 best podcasts in the UK right now.
Yes. Right, Stevie, until next week, mate.
It's been the highlight of my week.
And mine. Bye-bye.